So let's be blunt for a second, if you don't mind me. Your people are your greatest competitive advantage. But most companies spend about 90% of their branding efforts talking about products and the desire to sell. So here's the truth. Products may attract attention, especially when they are not a mere commodity. People build trust, and trust is what converts. Not just in recruitment, but in business in general. In a world of AI generated everything, trust is the new currency. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to my new podcast, formerly known as Building a Modern Employer Brand, but starting now as the Story-Driven Business Podcast. I'm your host, Susanna Rantanen, and world's leading modern employer branding expert, strategist, and yes, finally I can say an author. My book, Story-Driven Employer Branding, is now out and available on your preferred Amazon marketplace and also directly from me if you'd like to have it signed by me. The website is storydrivenemployerbranding.com. I make sure to add the website link to the show notes for this episode. So this is the new version of my long-standing podcast, the Story-Driven Business Podcast, where we bridge the gap between employer branding and business leadership by showing you how to build business value from inside out with branding. And in my new book, I explain my employer branding methodology in detail. And this is a game changer, I must say, for all those of you who always thought employer branding was just about an EVP and campaigns generating applications for talent acquisition. Now, today's episode is called Why the Best Businesses Brand Their People, Not Just Their Products. And I have to say, this topic is so close to my heart because when you really get what this means, you'll never look at marketing or leadership the same way again. I want to take you back a few years. I was in a client meeting that was a tech startup. We used to work a lot with tech companies, startups and scale-ups. Those were full of ambition, growth goals like rockets. And I have to say that I miss those times. The founder of that particular tech startup said something that stuck with me forever. He said, "We need to look like a place that builds amazing stuff." And I remember gently smiling and replying, "Well, you already do, but I don't see the amazing people building it anywhere." Silence. He blinked. And then I saw it in his eyes that it hit him. You see, his entire brand story was about the product, the software, the innovation. It was like his baby, the features, the tech specs. And mind you, this is very common in my native Finland, as we are the introverted engineering country. I mean, I love my country dearly, but this has got to be our national weakness. The inability to create lasting brands and evoke emotions in our target audiences, be it customers or employees or other stakeholders, because we are so proud of our engineering skills. So we kind of just focus on that and believe that everything will sell itself. Well, it doesn't, as you know, as I know. So in this particular tech company too, their actual source of value, the people behind the products, were invisible. That was the day that I also realized just how deep the disconnect runs between what most businesses say the value and what they actually show in their brand. And ever since, I have been on this mission to change that, hence today's episode. So let's be blunt for a second, if you don't mind me. Your people are your greatest competitive advantage. But most companies spend about 90% of their branding efforts talking about products and the desire to sell, not about the people, why the company exists, how they, together with the people, change the world for their customers and employees. And yet, It's your engineers, your consultants, your designers, your care workers, your customer service, your HR that drive that innovation. It's your culture, how you lead those people, hold them accountable to your customer promise, values, and mission, encourage and appreciate their input, and empower them to reach business goals together. That makes your customers come back. And it's your leaders who live the expected brand in every decision they make and every step that they take. So here's the truth. Products may attract attention, especially when they are not a mere commodity. By the way, I talked about commodity from a strategic branding point of view in episode 150. So if you're listening to this episode, you might want to check out 150 or go to modernemployerbranding.com and find episode 150. It's there also in a blog version if you like. So let's go back to that. So products may attract attention, especially when they're not just a mere commodity. People build trust, and trust is what converts, not just in recruitment, but in business in general. And in a world of AI-generated everything, trust is the new currency. Branding your people isn't fluff. It's not employer branding's little cousin. It's strategic brand leadership that turns into your magnetic employer brand and business brand. And this brand defines how you lead, how your people execute, how they treat your current and future customers and employees, how they deliver the promises, how they deliver the calls and value to the company. So how does this all tie to the magnetic employer branding method? So in my book, of course, I have it here. In my book, Story-Driven Employer Branding, I talk about this mindset shift that's central to the magnetic employer branding method. The mindset shift is that your talent is the hero and your business is the guide. And that means that brand story isn't about your company being awesome or your products or services being awesome. It's about showing how your company helps people become awesome, whether it's your customers or whether it's your employees and your current and future employees. And when you spotlight your people, your brand becomes relatable, humane, trustworthy, and emotionally magnetic. I want to take that a little bit deeper. So when you brand your people, you show what kind of leadership lives in your culture, what's important, what are the values that are truly practiced, not just printed somewhere, what collaboration looks like in action, what real innovation feels like behind the scenes. You shift the conversation from look what we sell to look who we are and what we can do for you. That is not marketing fluff. That's your brand's substance. So I want to talk about what it looks like in action. So let's make it more practical. Branding your people can look like leader-led storytelling, founders, managers sharing lessons and documenting the business journey with its ups and downs, not just wins. Showing vulnerability in your brand makes you more humane, makes people believe and trust you more. Employee hero stories. Framing your people's growth at work and outside work, or as professionals and humans in their lives, as the proof of your culture. Behind the scenes storytelling, showcasing how things are done and why they matter. And collaborative content that lets your people speak for the brand instead of speaking about them. And no, it doesn't mean everything needs to be on TikTok or post daily on LinkedIn. I don't. It means building systems and habits that consistently show the people power behind the brand, your brand. Because when you brand your people, you do three things. First of all, you build emotional affinity with future talent or future customers, or both. I like to, include both. Show authenticity to customers and stakeholders. That's number two. And 3, create long-term narrative that scales with your business's growth. And guess what? That's how you create brand trust that survives product cycles, leadership changes, even economic downturns that we see right now. Now, I want to talk to you about risk, the risk of not doing this. If your employer brand or your business brand are disconnected from each other, if your people are invisible behind your brand, then when a crisis hits or talent leaves, you're exposed. Because people don't feel loyalty to features, they feel loyalty to people. That's right. When companies go quiet about their people, candidates assume the worst. When leaders never show up in the brand, employees assume that they don't care. This is not important. And when customers can't see the humans behind the service, well, they'll go somewhere where they can. Branding people isn't a nice to have. It's a brand's insurance policy. It's a business growth strategy and an emotional loyalty generator. Want to know what you can do next? Well, I'm happy to share. Here's your action steps as a business leader or employer branding bro. Audit your brand visibility today. Can people see who works behind the product or your services? Can they tell what kind of culture you have? Do your employees sound like humans in your content, or are they just scripted mannequins? Are your leaders leading with story? If the answer is no or barely, don't panic, but do start. Start small. Start with the story. Start with showing why your people matter, because that is the brand people will trust tomorrow. All right. I'll wrap it up with a favorite quote. This one's from Howard Schultz. He is he was CEO of Starbucks. Here's the quote. When you are surrounded by people who share a passionate commitment around a common purpose, anything is possible. That's what branding does. That's what branding your people does. It turns your business into a purpose-driven collective, and that, I would say, is a brand worth following. If this new episode resonated, I'd love to hear that from you. Drop me a message on LinkedIn or tag me in your story-driven content, or direct message me on Instagram or TikTok, or tag me on those media. And if you haven't grabbed a copy of my book, Story-Driven Employer Branding, it's now available on Amazon worldwide. So just choose your own marketplace or go directly to storydrivenemployerbrand.com. And you can also get the book with my signature directly from me, posted by me. Dive into the method that's helping modern leaders and employer branding bros build business stories that work. Until next time, stay magnetic, be story-driven.